Okay, before we get started, just want to remind everybody that all council meetings will be audio and video taped and shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22, and Verizon Fios Channel 77 on Cablevision. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Councilmember Cherish?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on March 14, 2024. We are going to discuss the budget. So, Ricky, I will turn it over to you to give us some highlights, and then we'll do some. I don't know how you want to run this one, because normally we have the budget in advance. We schedule the meeting for the work session as we've done like now, but now I'm being told that this may be a little different, the way we're doing it today.
Well, normally what was supposed to occur is I'm supposed to present it to you.
Right.
And that hadn't been done in the past. We got everything in advance before we ever sat down.
Right.
So this is what is, by your charter, that's the way it's supposed to be. It gets presented to you, and then you have time to review it, to get back and say, can we change something?
So today is the presentation.
Correct. So I apologize for not getting it to you in advance of prior to that, but that's the way it's supposed to work. And that's where we're at right now.
I think just so we know for next year, we'd like to have it in advance before this meeting so that we can thumb through it.
It was my intention,
Yeah.
yeah, I apologize. I had difficulties over the weekend and could not access my files. So
Okay.
that's on me.
Okie doke. All right, so let's go. Let's get into it then.
All right,
Where do you
so-
want to start?
I'll just start with a general overview right now.
Okay.
Our appropriations are going up nearly $2 million. Primarily, almost 1.15 is for salaries due to the contract settlements.
That the police,
All of them,
all contract negotiations
Correct.
resulted in a 1 million increase.
over the one
Okay.
rate, yes. Along with the normal steps that people would have been entitled to.
Cost of living,
et cetera.
yep,
Yes,
mhm.
yes.
Okay.
Other expenses are going up roughly $820,000. That's primarily due to the normals, the pension bills, the insurance bills, our health insurance. That accounts for like $500,000 of it, which is nothing. We've looked into a JIF to try to get out-of-state health benefits, but our experience ratio at this time is not a good one.
What's our experience ratio right now? We
We're over 100.
we are.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
so
it was
we
102
can't even
or something like that.
come close.
Correct,
We got to be where around 95
something like
to
that,
see
yeah.
the number that would make sense.
Yes,
Yeah. All right.
so it's not that we haven't tried, but
Yeah, we can't do anything over 100.
Yeah.
It's got to be below. I think 96 is like the sweet spot, and then anything below that is where you can start pricing it out.
Can you explain that?
yes, nobody wants to take you on. It's gonna cost them more to take you on with an experience rating over 100, which means if you're paying $100, they're paying 102.
Is that because of problems in the past, or?
We have a
I can't be
heavy use of
specific.
the health
I don't
benefits.
know the background of why.
Is that what
It's
it
just-
means? It's a heavy use?
All it takes is one bad case
Mhm.
for somebody to really get sick,
Mhm.
and that jacks up your percentages big time.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, you could have all young people working here, and then your ratio goes way down, and you have people that are, using it with family coverage, and you get one cancer case, and that'll whack you completely out.
In
So.
this day and age, anything can happen.
Yeah. So I mean, look, it's I get it. I mean, we're looking at it over where I'm at, looking at the ratios, and I get
Well,
it.
and the early rumors already are, that's already double digits for next year with the state. It's because
Okay.
they can't find their way out of a paper bag to do something right.
Yeah.
But that's where we're going. But we'll continue to look and see if we can, you gotta pay $2,000 for each time to the state to get your experience rating. They give it to you once every 3 years, I believe, free, and then you gotta
Yeah.
pay for it every time. So, we paid for it once, I don't know how often we wanna pay for it.
When was the last time?
We just did it, October, I think, Dave got it, something like that, September, October. So,
And about $500,000 in what'd you say, in healthcare?
yes. Well, the healthcare is $272. If you go to page 3, it details everything for you on our other expenses. About a third of the way down, you'll see employee group insurance. There's $272,000 of it. Workers' comp is $117,000 of our increase. And the pension bills are on page 4 for another $89,554 for PFRS and $65,115 for PERS.
Comp went up that much, huh?
Yeah. Now, the state just came out, not that it's gonna help your bottom line here, but on how you can put it on inside the cap and outside the cap. They just came out with local finance notice because of everybody getting whacked with workers' comp. So they're gonna give everybody a break to move those appropriations outside the cap, but there's a calculation they gotta do to move that. But it doesn't affect the bottom line.
So Ricky, I didn't do the math yet, and you probably know it. So what's the proposed percentage increase from 44 to 40, from 42.2 to 44?
Well, that's the good news, if you look at the front page.
Okay, go ahead.
The front page right now, the way I'm proposing is the average home's gonna go up $21.60 on the municipal rate.
What did Greg put in for the roads? Because I know we're behind on the road program as it relates to money, because we whacked it down every year.
He asked for a little bit over $3 million, I believe.
3.29 for the
What'd you
whole
put him in
capital.
for?
I haven't finalized the capital budget yet,
Okay.
so that's something that Dave and I need to discuss.
That's where we seem to tend to get a lot of the complaints on the roads, because we've been behind. So that's I think it's kind of an important, I mean, look, there's 5 of us here, so we can discuss it, but I mean, that's where we receive a large share of complaints.
3 million, John.
3 million?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the last 2 years' capitals, we've hit and taken care of the police for their
No, I
big
printed
issues.
it.
And the vehicles for the garbage trucks. So moving more towards the roads and keeping our capital in line should work this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
How many garbage trucks we done?
We did 3 last year, so I think we're only gonna factor 1 in for the next 3 years.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
I think, I even said something last year to whack that down to 2, but we did 3 last year.
We did,
Huh, okay. Well, it's less
So-
to do this year.
Just for the record,
yes.
I mean, based on, well, I guess this is Greg's engineering, not capital, right? This is just his engineering capital.
Correct.
Not the township's capital.
That's what he said to me.
No, it's the township's capital. It's that 3 million.
Let me do it a different way. Well, no, let me
He
do
said
it.
it was his.
This
It
is
didn't-
just his engineering capital budget request. Is 3
Yes.
point, right.
Yes,
So
That's
that
correct.
That would not include what you just, as an example, the garbage trucks.
correct.
Got it.
That
Very
is
good.
correct.
All right, just checking.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
So, looking at last year's recap, so I see the 2 million went up in appropriations, but 2 million down in revenue from last year. We went from 40. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at the 22. Adopted was 40 million. It's 42. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I thought I was accounting for 4 million short. Okay.
I
What a
don't walk out
find.
the door there.
I was kind of getting there. I'm a little nervous that the tax increase is 21, but we're 4 million in the hole.
Well, I've utilized a lot of different revenues to offset a big tax increase. And that's up.
Oh, no, it
obviously.
is 2 million. Wait a second. The 42 to 44, it is a 2 million change.
That's
All right,
correct.
that's-
So
right.
it's down. We're down 2 million, or we're up 2 million?
no,
Up
no.
to. Up
Okay,
to.
2 million up. Okay, got it. This is 22.
I saw so the grants, you're only proposing $103,000 in grants this year?
That's all I have at hand right now.
That's a little depressing, considering we brought in $300,000 last year. We still paying that company?
We,
Yes.
you
Yes.
had double dip last year on the police grant. We put it in your budget last year for their October 1st to September 30th grant. and then they got it awarded again, that we did a 159 and then included it again in last year's budget.
Mhm.
So you got those two, one of which isn't here again, for $49,000. So that's one of them, off the top of my head. You will get the Clean Communities grant during the year, which is usually about 60,000.
Yeah.
And we'd amend the budget at that point for that grant. I know Mike had a grant for recreation. We haven't got the final step, the letter, that I can put it in yet, but when we get that, we'll just amend the budget at that point as well.
Got it.
So can you go, oh, go ahead, Dave, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, it just seems like there's so much money out there, but we seem to not be able to get our hands on it. Be nice to figure out a way to get some more grant money.
Especially if we're paying per month for a grant writer.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you go back to my question? So I asked you what the percentage was on the 2 million, and then you referenced back to the 21.6. Why did you mention that? What was the reason? You said it was good news. I just want to make sure I understand.
I was just telling you that the average increase for the average homeowner is $21.60
Versus-
proposed budget.
Right, versus 156 the year before, 108 the year before.
Correct.
Got
Because
it.
the house value went up.
No. It has to do with all the revenues I'm using to offset the tax
Right.
levy.
Okay.
And the tax rate's down.
Right.
Well, the tax rates, it's subjective because of your assessed values.
Okay.
Going up $1 billion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your house is assessed at higher value. You're paying more money, but your tax rate went down in the last 7 years,
Correct.
which is what we've been hanging our hat on for a long time.
And it's going down this year, you're proposed.
Correct.
Yeah,
So we're gonna lower the tax rate?
0.026.
Correct.
Okay.
Municipal tax rate.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes, we know the county and everybody else, school district is not cheap.
How many SLEOs do we pay for? 3?
5,
5.
yes.
We cut that, that's half. We pay half, they pay half?
Correct.
Still.
So it's 125 each. Right now we have budget.
Ricky, what is the difference, sorry if this is the same format as last year, what's the difference between the two adjustment columns on page 1?
That's more for me than anything.
Okay, that's fine.
The first adjustment column is everything that everybody pretty much requested, and that's what I put in. So anything after that would be something I wanted to adjust, said you're not gonna get this, that, or that.
Well, I'm using it as example the grants on the page 1.
That's because it wasn't the same grant dollar amount, so I just backed one out and put the actual grant award I had in.
Okay.
Project Extend is down. Project Extend, the money, $44,000 less.
Yes, we, well, with 1515 going by the wayside, we had anticipated that over the last couple of years.
Right,
We don't appropriate for that now.
got it.
However, the revenues are still pretty good, so.
Rick, you got Deal Lake Commission, nothing. You got adjustments, 12.5. That's page 2. What's going on there?
Page 2.
Towards the bottom.
That's the interlocal, where Jesse and I, we're not doing the interlocal with them anymore.
You're not with the Deal Lake Commission?
No.
Who's doing it? Then you're not-
We're doing it, but we're not doing it through an interlocal to save some face.
And the city of Plainfield, Bradley, that's basically a wash, right?
Correct. Well, yeah, you actually make money, I just budget what gets paid out.
I know we're kind of haphazard here, but I'm just flipping over to page 4. Why such an expense on the water? You know, water gotten a lot more expensive. We using more water?
Yeah, the bills started coming through, I think we had to make a transfer at the end of last year to cover them.
Hmm.
The specifics I'd have to check with Steve on.
Yeah, it seems like that would just see, something like that should be, you know, I get gas and, you know, the weather and all that sort of thing, but yeah, water's water.
Yeah, but New Jersey American Water,
They did increase based on programs that they had. I don't know if it was that much, but I
What's
hear
the
you.
big water drawer for the town, like the pool or something? I mean, there's only so much water the township facilities are gonna use.
I'd have to get the
Yeah, I mean,
actual bills. I
just
don't know off the
curious,
top
it
of my
just
head.
seems like a, you know, should be more of a fixed expense. I get 1 or 2%, but,
Mhm.
you know,
I'll check with Steve on that.
just curious.
Yep.
Ricky, can you go back to John's comment about Plainfield and Bradley?
Yes.
So Bradley didn't happen in '23, that's why it's in the adjustment column. Plainfield did, it was 56, now it's an additional 29 to 85, meaning
We
we're
only
gonna
did May 1st.
there you go, thank you.
December.
Very good, thank you. And I'll bite, why is Jesse's budget decreasing 36?
There's been an election.
Ah,
Nice.
I just got a final bill that they forgot to send from last year's municipal election. I was hesitating to tell you about it. But it was only 2,000.
That we can scrape up, Jesse.
It's like, I'm not gonna bother them right now.
And planning up by 25.
thank you, John, I was on the same line, and judgment,
Yeah, why are they
zoning below.
going up so much? Is it because
I'm
they have
sorry.
more meetings or what's?
Page 3, yep.
The professionals, between CME and Higgins and all the activity,
But we see that in revenue somewhere else.
correct.
Okay.
UCC, right? That's where we get it from?
Well, they also charge $1,500 an application for any planning and or zoning
Right.
application.
Right.
So.
Okay.
And she's
and
working
rest
on the
is paying
fees
out of
down there anyway.
Escrows. Yeah, she's looking into that right now.
And deferred sick leave down by 90. How come that's down so much?
Well, if you recall, at the last meeting I presented to you and you passed the two resolutions that I transferred the money from our appropriated reserves from 23 over there
Okay.
to save money for this year's budget.
Okay.
So it's already in our reserve to cover us.
Same with deferred vacation.
Yes.
What's PFRS?
That's the.
Police and Fire Retirement System.
Okay.
So, I know this is an interesting question, but I'm sure you don't really have a great answer for, but do we ever see this insurance ever flattening or going down? Or is this just gonna be, is this gonna bury everybody? Because this is never gonna end. $272,000 increase this year. What's next year gonna bring?
10%.
I mean, I think this is a systemic problem, not an Ocean Township problem.
It's across the state. If you're in the state health benefits, there's no doubt.
Are there options or there are no options?
Well, like I mentioned previously, we looked into the,
So if you don't have this lower number, you're not getting out of this system.
No, you can. You're going to pay for it.
you can take a gamble on being self-insured, but that's like shooting yourself in the foot at this point.
I mean,
When
you know,
somebody-
there's 500 and some odd municipalities. What is everyone else doing? Are they just eating this?
If they're in it, yeah. I mean, I don't know the percentage.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
I think like a third of the state doesn't participate.
So a third of the state, and what do? They're self-insured?
That's very self-insured, HIFs, combination of the HIF and its part self-insurance. Yeah, there's all different variations out there.
Do you know anybody who's successful with what they're doing? Alternately?
I haven't heard anything bad about Freehold Township.
Yeah.
Freehold Township seems to have it under control.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot has to do with getting that ratio down first. I mean, you going to a self-insured plan with a ratio that high is,
Suicide.
yeah.
Is there,
Go ahead.
Because you're going in paying 102 or 104% of whatever each dollar that goes out. So, you know, and the problem with that is we're already high. It could go higher.
Correct.
So now, I mean, obviously, we have a bad trend right now as it relates to health benefits. I was in this boat where I'm at, and I think we're actually below 98 right now, which is rare in where I'm at. But, you know, there's a lot of younger staff that have started too.
What happens when a lot of our employees hit 65 and are eligible for Medicare?
They go into a different plan, which is a lower rate on our
So
retirement
does
side.
that help the?
It helps,
ratio or-
but we don't have that many.
I think it's one person, right?
That's it?
She's also the only marathon runner.
Sorry, Jesse, you know, just works.
damn it,
Yeah, no,
set it up.
it's good. So we want her to stay forever. We want her to
And
so the
clone
rates
me.
are lower. Dave, there's your answer.
There we
You want to
go.
lower the rates? We
Hire
hire
old
a
people.
bunch
People
of
until they're
people.
65, all right?
Hire
Our
everyone-
Cedar Village and Rolling Meadows friends would
A lot of
love us.
experience with that
They would
group.
love us. They
A lot
have
of
a good
experience.
experience.
A lot of wisdom. I do see this being a systemic problem down the road, though. I mean, at some point, this is gonna break somebody. It may not break Ocean Township, but this has gotta break somebody.
Well, the problem is that they keep, it's an exception to the tax levy. So everything above the 2%,
Yeah,
taxpayer has to eat.
yeah.
And, unless you have other revenues to offset it, obviously.
Hmm.
So being it outside the cap, I understand that you think it might break it.
Yeah.
But they're gonna say, no, it's not gonna break it because the taxpayer has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switching gears, have we received any income from the new property down the road there? Is that budgeted in at all? The Miller's Ale House and all that Paramount property over there?
We had, I don't know if that was part of Bill's added and omitted assessments yet. I'm pretty sure it probably would have been,
Okay.
but we had $1.8 million in added and omitted assessments last year, of which we kept $1.5 million of.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if that's in it yet. I can check
Okay.
with Bill, but he did a yeoman's job catching up on a lot of stuff that,
And he's still working on it.
yeah, I won't point a finger, but just
No, I know.
got missed here or there.
Yeah, I heard this, so, yeah, so I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, we want that stuff online.
Sure.
You know?
The housing wouldn't have started yet.
Yeah.
Anything that has completed with the COs, like the things that are open, should be on the added omitted.
Yeah. Any expectation on the hotel? When's that opening up? Anybody
July.
know? July?
That's what they keep
They're
telling me.
moving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna have a liquor license.
Yeah, every little bit helps, right?
Sure.
That cannabis money's gonna come in handy.
When's the weed money coming in?
When is it coming?
You gotta approve it. It's not approved yet. You gotta, they have to meet, and then at the next meeting, he said he's gonna bring it up. I mean, I guess they'll present, the 5 that they think are the right fit for the town, and then they get rolling.
There's 5 resulting bids?
There's actually 7.
Okay, so they down selected?
7 for 5 licenses. Well, no, we've only, that'll be discussed in closed session on that one, but that's, I'm thinking Q4 on that to see something potentially, and then 25 is when you're really gonna see it. So, I mean, you can forget 24. It's already, you're almost done with the first quarter. First quarter's done in, in 2 weeks. So you're not gonna see any money from that. Forget 24. You might see a little bit at the end, fourth quarter.
So from your side of the fence, is that golden ticket money? Is that unbudgeted money that you didn't expect? Does that help exponentially, or is it just kind of goes into the big?
I think it would definitely help, no
Yeah.
doubt. It's a revenue stream that you don't currently have.
Yeah.
So depending on the volume that these places might end up doing.
Sure.
I mean, Freehold Borough, they brought in $260,000 in '23.
Okay.
A whole year?
Yeah.
Or is that a quarter?
Half year.
Half year? That's good.
Actually, less than half year.
Oh, that's good.
Really?
Yeah, I think they allowed
Even
it
if it
as
was
of
half the year,
June.
that's-
No,
I
I'm
mean, it's
saying,
like
yeah.
slightly under.
And that's
half year.
one
I
license?
apologize,
one.
they didn't bring in 260. They anticipated that they would get 260, but it didn't, like Matt said, it didn't go for the whole year.
Right.
Yes, and they have 4 licenses.
Okay.
So only 50,000 a license?
They
No.
just started.
No.
No,
there's
'cause they don't
4
have-
places that get taxed 2% on all their sales.
Only one is
Operational.
One is
One
operational.
rate.
Oh, I misunderstood. So UCC, I don't know if I want to ask this. So you've budgeted $1 million each year, and obviously the revenue is considerably higher. That's kind of a windfall if we get it. You don't want to anticipate less than that, but if it
It's
comes-
actually something that I want to speak to Dave about, that we might play around with a little bit with that one too, instead of using so much surplus. Because we've actually fully stocked them down there and have overtime to get everything out the door. So we can't make money off of it,
We're correct.
so we might adjust that higher and reduce what we are anticipating right now in the surplus. I added an extra $500,000
I see that.
out of surplus.
Right.
Because of the windfall we had with the added omitteds.
Right.
That will, I'm pretty sure, not continue to be a windfall that big every year. But there will be some added omitteds. To sustain an $8 million on the fund balance, I'm not sure we can do that.
I think I've asked this question last year. What is the number in your head as far as keeping a surplus? Like, I know we always want to save for a rainy day, but when does it become too much or too little? Is it a percentage or is it just,
I usually use like 3.5 to 4.5% of our operating budget as a bottom line that we should have in reserve at all times after we've budgeted what we're budgeting.
yeah, that's the magic number?
That's my magic number. There's
Okay.
some places that want 10%.
Yeah,
So it's, there's a little town called Upper Freehold Township that has more surplus than they have on their annual budget.
okay, really? Really?
You ever been to Upper Freehold?
I've ridden my bike through it.
Yeah, they're a very interesting place.
What are they doing with all that
How do
extra
the
money?
residents let that happen?
Earning interest right now. They don't spend a penny.
I mean, it's an interesting place to be, but I don't know what you're doing with the taxpayers' money sitting in a bank account.
What's other special items of revenue on the first page?
If you go to page 6, it'll detail that for you.
Hmm.
6 and 7 are your revenues.
Okay.
So generally speaking, you feel like the town is in a good financial place at this point?
No doubt.
You have things are good? Is it because the housing value is great, or is it just good management? We're keeping things in a good fiscal place?
I think it's a combination of both.
Mhm.
You know, obviously the ratables out there are just overwhelming.
Which tremendously helps.
Yes.
Yeah,
And there's people that just want to come here,
yeah.
you know, which is always a good thing.
We're very fortunate that we have a healthy, financially healthy municipality. I mean, it's been that way for as long as I can remember.
More importantly, you have people who pay timely.
Yeah.
So, you know, saving on delinquent notices and chasing people down and having to do stuff.
What's our rate? It's like 96% or something like that of collected? I mean,
Our collection rate's almost 99.
which is,
That's great.
And that's without having an accelerated sale where you would sell everything
Yeah.
and get it all in.
I assume in other towns it's not 99?
No.
So that's a good thing, right?
That's a very good thing.
Well, the changes in the liquor licensing that I think just came out, will that have any effect on us?
No.
Like, will that be revenue to us or no? They're allowing
I don't think that.
wine stuff in non-ABC licensing.
I don't think that those, the sale of alcohol, I don't think goes to the assessed value of the property, so I don't think it would impact.
No reap, no benefit reap, okay.
No, but I know that if, like, we get a hotel license, that's, additional for the license.
2,500.
Okay, so extra $2,500.
Okay, I just thought maybe we'd be getting some more.
Oh, I was thinking, because they also have they had a couple of exceptions, like they're allowing additional licenses, but they're for like malls and things that I don't think the township has.
Ricky, can you go back to surplus a second? So you're proposing 8.06,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the end number after and if we use any of it.
Say that again, please.
Yeah, and I'm trying to phrase it the right way. So that's proposed without anything that may be used out of the surplus is taken before that number. Meaning the number would have been higher if we were going to use any of it. The end result of the budget is 8.06.
Correct.
So, and I'm sorry, I'm used to a different format, but, so what are we using in surplus?
That 806. We have about 12 million available.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, where's the 12? That's what I'm
That's
sorry.
not on here.
Oh,
That's
got it.
financial
Okay,
statement.
that's what all right, that's where I was, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, sir.
So the pool fees went up pretty decent, but the revenue for the snack bar went down. That doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense.
Well, because the membership fees are paid irrespective of when the weather comes. And there was a lot of rainy days last year, so the snack bar just gets closed.
Okay.
Which would save us,
Correct.
what do we call that?
It's the minimum
Salary, thank
wage
you.
that we're paying over there, yes.
Thank you.
The guest fees is what gets impacted because of the weather.
Right.
But I told Mike that, you know, with all the pools that are going in town, how many people are signing up for this still?
Mm.
Because every time I turn a corner, there's a pool being put in this town.
Right.
Good point.
That pool has
You know
a
what would
certain following.
You know what
It always
would
has.
be, you know what would be interesting, since you just brought that up? We'll ask Mike, how many in town versus out of town? Since you just, it's a fair question
Mhm.
on your end.
That's simple enough to get right out of the system.
Why the celebration of public events double? Just curious.
175th.
I was told that we need money, so that's where they put it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gotta throw a party.
Page 8, Ricky, the golf utility, salaries obviously doubled because of the
The cave,
cave.
yes. The 10th hole.
Is that gonna make us any money? Or are we gonna break even on that?
We're hoping it's gonna make us serious money. It's gotta pay back the debt on it. Otherwise, I'll be getting another notice from somebody to move money around.
Yeah.
And you might get another email.
Price of the utility will probably go up too.
They go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, usually.
On page 7, is some of these donated things, like PD purchased defibrillator, Dr. Newman, somebody donate that?
That's correct. Dr. Newman donated. She wanted to buy the defibrillator, but it would have cost her more,
Okay,
so it was easier to donate the money and have us buy it.
there's the burger estate, gave some money.
Correct.
Yeah.
That start yet? We do anything with that?
I don't believe so.
Did we accept the money? I mean, I
Oh,
see it's
yeah.
here. Okay, I knew we had to,
I have the cash.
that's cool. Earning interest.
Earning interest.
Interest went up, right? Are you getting any more interest on anything, or is it just?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That's helping, right?
If you look on page 6, we anticipated 231,000 last year. We realized 562,000.
That's a huge difference. That's what I was asking, because I remember doing this a few years ago, the interest rates were nothing, and we were basically just
Right.
getting.
Probably
nothing.
had it out of your budget.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
anticipating anything, correct. But that works directly in correspondence to your debt as well.
Yeah.
You're pulling down a note, it cost us $275,000 to pay that note last year, when the year before it was only 58. So they go hand in hand.
Oh, it's not locked in?
Not our notes. Our notes are annual. So whatever the rate is, annual
Oh,
is
I'm sorry, okay.
what you gotta.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Good thing is on that is that probably next year, when we lose an issue, we'll go out again and get rid of whatever we have outstanding in advance, and make it permanent.
Is the debt service in the budget?
Yes.
I'm
Page
sure-
5.
That's what I'm asking.
Is there a page?
What the hell happened? I'm sorry.
So it's not just me.
I'm like, I was just on page 5, it's 6.
You want to give me 1 second? I'll
Sure.
go get you page 5. I apologize.
That's why I took that accounting class.
Count all the way
I
to
thought it was
6.
me.
Like straight down.
That class was a nightmare. Are you?
Correct.
Ugh.
I don't know, I think I didn't get past statistics.
I took 2 accounting classes. I took financial accounting and managerial accounting. I was like, whoa.
What's the,
And they prided themselves on beating the heck out of the students. It was
And where was that?
Delaware.
So I was just talking to Dave today about, Yeah, it might be Heritage. Who has the pilot?
Who's got the pilot?
Heritage.
Yeah, it's
Which one?
Heritage.
All of them?
But it's a 5-year?
Like the first, I think it's 777 that has it,
How many years?
and I don't know.
We don't have any of them expiring where we're gonna start seeing.
That I have to go.
I don't think we have a lot to begin with.
No.
I
Pilots.
think that might be the only one.
Really?
We
Oh, you
have
know,
been good.
is that the,
Heritage.
Heritage
I think it's the
Village.
adult, I mean, the,
You're right.
age
Restricted,
restricted.
More
yeah.
nice football pages as opposed to.
Those,
front
I
page
think that's gonna go for,
Ricky, where's
that's like
the pilot?
30 years, I think.
Oh,
I think that was renewed.
Ricky, which one's the pilot? Heritage Village?
There's actually 4 block lots that pay us on a pilot.
Off the Heritage.
Heritage is one of them.
Thank you.
I assume it's all 3 Heritages.
This is Heritage.
Right.
Primrose? Is Primrose?
No, Primrose is in
Wilpont
Heritage.
Village.
I know well popular.
I think that just got reset for another 30 years, if I remember. Not, I wouldn't say like within the last 6 months, but I think within the last years or 2. They flipped over at CI, is that the one that's CIS?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that just got reset, I think.
What was it for all the sites?
Whatever the CIS, whatever they
Well,
own.
they manage 3.
Uh,
4,
I could-
3.
I could look to see. Ricky might know exactly what, but the pilot in town?
I'd have to look I only go by block and lots, I don't know the names off the top of my head. Susie sends them to me by block and lot, so.
1.02 sound familiar?
There's 2, I think, Ocean something.
Heritage Village at Ocean and Heritage Village at Oakhurst?
Yes, yeah, that sounds familiar, yes.
And then on West Park,
Wilpont Village.
Primrose. Not Primrose.
Wilpont Village. It's the one in between Hidden Meadows and Primrose is here, Wilpont is over here.
Right. And then
Okay.
what's about the one on West Park?
That's Hidden Meadows.
No, the other end.
Not
I'm
Hidden
sorry,
Meadows,
Roosevelt.
Hidden-
Roosevelt.
That's, oh, God, Poplar Village.
Poplar
Yeah.
is probably one too.
Yeah.
So there's 4,
there should
we
be.
think?
what
Yes,
he
there's
says.
4.
Are they all 30 years, or is that what you're looking at?
I don't know.
Um,
Susie does the billing, I just collect.
I'll check on this. My initial thought is yes, but I'm not, I'll look
I
into
have it,
it.
I think I have it on the desk.
I will point out that West Long Branch Court expires on March 31st. We haven't solidified that they are coming back as of yet.
Shared
So,
service?
yes, if that occurs, these numbers are going to be changing a little bit.
What do we make off that?
We have anticipated right now $161,000.
And they may be legal, potentially?
Correct.
That's in 2 weeks.
There was an email sent by Dave again today to this, their manager. He said he'd be back within 48 hours to us.
Just for the record. Oh, this is other expenses. Sorry.
What's the total debt that the town has? The total number?
Ricky, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You said 161 or 111?
161?
Page 2 show, am I missing it? West Long Branch Court, 111?
You're only seeing salaries and wages there, and then there's OE.
Yes,
Look at
you
the
are.
revenue.
Yes, I am. All right, good answer.
Revenue is 161,517.
Excuse me.
Our outstanding debt at 12/31/23 was $20,480,000. That was permanent debt.
Big chunk of change.
For the size of the town for your ratables, it's nothing.
This sounds like so much.
I know, it sounds like a lot of money.
Not at all.
Now look at your $8.8
I was
billion
billion dollars of worth.
Can't even do the math. Would you say
Because
20 million?
Your permitted debt is based upon the last 3 years' average assessment.
Well, 10%
So,
would be 800 million.
at 3.5%
1% is
of
80
that.
million. So
You're nowhere near it.
Zero,
I mean, there's
zero.
people that hit that 3.5 and have to go to local finance board every time they want to do something. You're nowhere near that. I think you're at 0.502%.
Right.
What happens if a, you know, like something in the 80s occurs where all the housing market just absolutely bottoms out? I mean, I would imagine a town could be really in trouble.
Your rate just,
I mean, I think that,
we're still paying the taxes.
yeah, depending on, you know, that bottoming out, what people are doing to survive to pay their taxes.
You know what's gonna happen, Dave, if
Yes.
that happens? Now you got your uncollected taxes, because if that happens and people aren't paying the taxes, there's where the problem is, not
Yeah.
the taxes itself, but, you know, you just
But
gotta.
I appreciate you bringing it in that perspective.
Putting it into the universe, thanks.
Well, I've been wondering why.
Dave, you got anything positive to say?
Well, the weed revenue.
We owe
could be
too much
taken
money.
into
Wait, we owe too much money, it might crash, it's gonna bottom out.
it. Just keeping
Think
it real.
positive, Dave, think positive.
So
That's good.
if I know we've discussed this
What's
pie in the
coming
sky
out?
stuff, but if we even want to do a giant capital project like build a brand new town hall,
Mhm.
is that separate and different from this whole thing? This is something that we would raise money on a different level? This is,
No,
no. So it's very much part of what you're dealing with?
correct.
Okay.
Yep. If we were to do it on our own, without any private partnerships with us, it would be a regular capital bond ordinance, and
Mhm.
we'd foot the bill.
Got it.
And there goes our surplus.
And there are some options out there, right?
Sure.
Different public-private deals and,
Yep.
got it. Because I know that was a conversation we've had.
I mean, with our current debt, I mean, we're in great shape debt-wise, Mike, you know, I mean, I agree with you, it's nothing compared to what even if everything tanked out, you're still way below what the values are. I mean, even if you lost, which is not gonna happen, but I mean, if you were to lose half the property value, I mean, you're still at a number that's, you know, for the amount of debt we have is not bad at all.
Your debt service in your operating budget is below 10% of your budget. The state starts to worry about you when it's over 25.
Yeah.
So you're not even near having a problem with your debt.
All right.
And we keep rolling anyway, we keep paying stuff down. I
Right,
mean, it's
that's,
not
like
like
I
we're.
said, next year, we're gonna lose an issue,
Yeah.
so that's the time I would go out
Yeah.
again and keep everything flat.
Do you have the open space trust fund in here somewhere?
It will be 800 and, it's 1% of your,
Assessed
rentals.
value.
So your tax levy there will be $872,671.
Okay.
We put, on the Kepwell property, we paid down $692,250 on that ban that we had outstanding, so we have $1 million left to pay that.
Okay.
Then I plan on paying over the next 2 years, $500,000 each, so that'll be go by the wayside.
Good.
And then remember, you got that, I mean, at some point, that open space trust fund, if, you know, we do this town hall, I mean, we look at that number and that, remember, when we started it, the valuations were only 4.5 billion, so we were pulling in about 450,000. We're pulling in double the amount. So, I mean, once Ricky gets some stuff paid down and we look at this town hall project, I mean, you got half of that money if you want.
Can you use it?
You can't use it for that, but you just cut the tax down a bit. That's always an option. But that's to be discussed down the line. So I mean, the debt right now, and then when we sell 1515, that money will be applied towards that particular debt or the other.
We'll use it as a revenue stream to pay down more debt,
Right.
correct?
Not necessarily that, but debt in general.
Yes. Yep.
And just looking at this, Rick, on page 1, I don't want to be David, Debbie Downer, or
Come on.
Downer, David, however you want to say it. I mean, it's
From
on the
Mr. Fiscal Management over there.
on the positive side, well, depending on whose side of the equation you're on. So if I'm doing the math, and you don't have 2017 on here, but if, let's say we went back to 17, and you might know this answer without looking at this. In 7 years, basically, our overall assessed value is almost doubled.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Give or take.
Right.
even if you said 42%, I mean,
Well, I was going one more year prior to that, because I'm thinking that's 9.4, but,
Got it.
right. You knew that answer, or you did the math in your head?
no, I don't.
Damn.
Any departments short on manpower that they're looking to hire?
No, I think everybody's fully stocked,
Yeah?
yes.
Is that a good thing?
Like I said, the court would be my only thing that we would have to
Yeah.
address if we drop.
Are they gonna do it in-house? Do they wanna go to a different town?
They were looking to go to Oceanport, I believe.
Anybody else wanna come on over?
Don't know.
Kelly, according to the DCA, Township has 4, like Ricky said, they're all affordable housing pilots. So those are typically 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
So we did a 30-year pilot on those.
I think they were actually renewed additional, so I think it's been like 30 years it might be, have already done, and then we re-upped.
Yeah, there's
on it.
one that's been on the books since the 60s, I believe.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Poplar
It's-
Village.
it's-
Yeah.
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 But Heritage, the other 3 were brand new.
Yeah.
Well, not brand new, but they're not 30 years old if they've been
No.
I was
6 or
I
8
was
years.
referring to that one. I
Yeah.
know when they transferred it, I
Got
think
it.
they were looking to
Poplar we
refinance
would
or
have
something.
kept that
so-
way because it was us, but these we wouldn't continue a pilot.
Well, the problem is if you say we're not going to no longer pilot, we're cutting out, the owners typically say, okay, we're going to convert these to market units, and then our affordable housing number goes.
So then we don't have a choice. We kind of get back to.
What a racket.
Wow.
Freaking, we gotta find the right industry. That's the goose that keeps giving. For them.
For the affordable housing people?
For, yes, CIS and them.
No.
No?
Honestly, I don't know what their bottom line number are, but I don't. I just know that what the law is.
Right.
So those numbers need to stay up. Money-wise, it's definitely a loss for the town.
If we stop the pilot and we,
Yes.
But we're not winning on the pilot either,
No.
in theory.
yeah, but then we
No.
don't.
Right.
We,
No,
we
I
have
know,
to
it's
make up
what
that
that
house.
We don't have enough units.
That would be the problem.
I'm good for now.
Yeah, whatever. You have the book with
Personally, I
you?
just,
When you have a chance to go through the book, just shoot me any questions, John.
I got a text from somebody who was looking at the video, because it was streaming it live. Somebody from the Environmental Commission noticed that you didn't print on the back.
Okay.
Re-
Thank
Really?
You. Thank you. We recycle the paper, don't worry.
That'll be in my office for the next 10 years, along with the other ones.
Right? Better than the garage.
Yeah.
Just one last question on the revenue. The Board of Ed, is that anticipated or is that realized? Because I know we're thinking other shared agreements with them, aren't we?
What page are we on? I'm sorry.
6.
6, the Board of Ed.
Shared service offset, Board of Ed SLEO 3.
Yeah, that 125,000 they pay.
So that's realized already. So that'll go up if we get this other agreement in place? Or aren't we
That's the-
thinking about additional?
That's the police officers.
The Board of Ed?
Yeah, that's the
Special law
SLEOs. Those are
enforcement
the-
officers. That's
Those are
what
the
SLEO
5
stands
cops.
for.
Okay.
Your
But-
answer still may be right, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, we
Those are
have,
the police
we
officers.
do other
Okay.
shared services with them, but they're not.
No, but we're
really-
talking about that whole other one.
Yeah, I mean, that's down the line if they
Okay.
go there. You mean on Cindy and?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah, that's.
So that would be
that's
above and
whole
beyond?
separate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like we talked about the potential of doing the buses and.
Correct,
and,
yeah.
you know,
So it would not
That would
happen
be
in
more on the
24,
capital
which is
side.
why we're not seeing
No,
it
right, no, it's
forecasted here.
definitely not 24
Okay.
because we're far off on that over there. Greg's still waiting to find out
If we can use it.
the environmental impact and, you know, how much of that space he can use and can he use what he's got. You know, there's some things that he's got to work through and then, you know, talk to the board and see what they decide they want to do.
I tell you, I would like to have a conversation about the grant writing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think, it's not that I'm picking on this company. I just think
I am.
that,
And have been.
it's time.
The return is not there.
The return's not great.
So I had that conversation coincidentally
Yeah.
right before we walked in
Yeah.
with Dave. Just shooting the bull. Were you in the room? And Matt sings their praise. No, Matt was. I'm here. I'm
I can
sort
tell
of
you- I
tongue in
can tell you.
cheeking, but you know my stance on it. I agree. They did make their money, but Dave did point out that they wrote the recreation grant, and he didn't specifically say what the amount was, but that it more than paid for itself last year.
I'm not ready to get rid of the company. I just think that there's.
We also don't
We need
have
more.
them on a full-time,
Right.
like, we're not paying them that,
Correct,
that
we
chunk.
adjusted their billing.
Yeah, we're getting,
We went to the bronze program.
I don't even know if it's a bronze. I mean, I think they give us what the grants are and then
We won
you
a
guys
bronze
have to
award
go
for
for it, right?
environmental this year.
I'm not sure how that works, I just know that we went from $650 a month to $4,800 annually.
Yeah, so we're at there,
That's it?
yeah, so then you're not really, they're giving us what grants
Plus
they think.
1,500 every time they write one, right?
Give or take, yes. Yes.
Which that's time and material. That's fine. If we don't want them to do the grant, then they don't do it.
So if it paid for itself last year, we just we're only 2.5 months into this thing so
We need
far.
more.
Is that's what he said, right, Matt?
He said last year, yes,
Right.
it paid for itself last year.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I would agree they should be more proactive.
Or at least come to us and explain what's going down.
So I asked Dave to have him come in
Yeah.
here and explain.
I think it's a
mean,
good
that's, I mean, I would welcome that.
There should be an entire portfolio of what we can go after.
Sure.
All right, so why don't we have them come into, not
There is
April's
an
meeting,
entire
but
portfolio that you can go after, but I think that's the level of service that they give you on that.
Right.
Because
Right.
they utilize the same thing in Plainfield, and
it's
every
about
month they give you a
$3,900 a
list
month or
of
something.
everything that's out there.
42
They're
Which
paying-
technically we could Google and find, with all due respect.
Technically, if you.
Yeah,
right,
but
if you
Rob,
had
to
somebody
be
I
honest,
know,
doing that,
I know,
who's
I
gonna go? I mean,
know,
these
I
employees
know,
are already
I
stretched
know,
thin.
I
I mean, you
know.
want them to go search out grants?
But $400 it'll take 3 searches.
Huh?
I'm saying for $450 that we're paying.
If the grant work is that easy,
No, it's not the work.
Not easy.
It's not the work. No. That's
or
why
even
we're doing
finding the
It's
grants,
It's horrible.
Yeah.
yeah, it's, and you and I talked about that grant.
It's like they're all wonderful.
That's why I gave it up.
And then there's a whole,
Yeah.
Ricky, who
But they do this
administers
for a
our
living.
grants? Because that's a
So,
whole separate
They know
thing.
it.
We do.
We, yeah,
The
so,
finance office does.
so Dave, and I'm going through this discussion over in
Foundation
my,
walked away from it.
the thing that actually pays my living, where I actually, make money. Going through the same thing with their grants. I mean, we've got a grant writer over there that's not really up to par on what it is, because it's very difficult. They're looking at different innovative ways to pull in the grants because they don't know where the educational grants are all the time. I mean, it's not as easy as you think Google up a grant and look it up. There's, that's time consuming. So if they're cutting out all that time, you can have 2 choices. You either hire the grant company to actually do full service, they blow it out. You could hire a grant writer for $100,000 a year and they can do it, but that's 4 times what the company was. The company was what, around 4?
$3,300 a month.
A month,
Yeah.
okay. So they're $39,000 a year. You hire somebody even at 80, 90 grand, plus pennies. I mean, they're triple what you would get with a company that actually has a team. So I'd be more inclined to do a team as opposed, unless you got somebody really good to do a grant writing.
No, listen, I think the time and material way we're doing it, when we pick the grants that we want them to go after, i.e. recreation, we pay them based on that writing. That makes sense. But they don't offer a program where you can, or so I thought when we changed this, however long ago we changed it, you still had to pay that minimum amount each month in order to get them on a time and material basis after for each grant.
Right,
So
you can't
we're-
just call them and say, listen, I want you to go after a grant for us.
Correct.
You have to be
Right, so we're
part
at
of the
the,
team already to ask them to do it.
so we can't go any lower. And if it's paying, listen, I'm the biggest person that's against it, but if it's paying for itself, I'm also the biggest.
The other
opponent.
thing is, I bet you there's, and I wouldn't even know where to look, but there's gotta be other grants out there that would help
At the
this
state
town,
level, there's
such as
thousands you can go after.
storm water mitigation grants.
Right, what are they doing?
Highway, stuff like that that we need for the municipality, not necessarily recreation, which we always need anyway,
Right.
but
There's a bunch of-
we need the bigger grants. So, I mean, maybe we meet with the company, we have a meeting, after we do this budget, I maybe set it up for May, have them come in because, March is done. April, we have one meeting and we're gonna introduce the budget. I don't think, unless we have them come in the work session in April, I don't have a problem with that. You wanna see if they're available the April meeting? I obviously, I think the sooner the better on the grant piece.
Yeah.
And I think what we do is have questions and, see what we're looking for as a municipality and see what they can offer. And look, I'm with Rob. If it's not paying for itself, I agree with you. If it is, or it's doing like David said, then we keep going with it. I mean, obviously we're getting something out of it. We don't have a specific grant writer here in town.
Oh, no, if they're winning, I'd rather keep it off the paper.
But we don't
You
have
have
a
to
I'll
grant.
yield to
remember
Rick,
too,
but I'd rather keep it off the paper.
Rob, you have to remember also, the former manager didn't communicate with the grant writer. And I have phone messages still saved and a couple of emails where they couldn't get any response for 9 months. So these guys basically sat on their hands and we blew $3,300 a month while there was no communication. So, I mean, that was another thing. There was a bad start to the thing as well.
It was under Mike? That's when we started?
I didn't mention a name.
I'm sorry.
I'm just mentioning.
Didn't mean to imply it that
I'm
way. I
mentioning
forgot
former-
when we
I
started
said a
it.
former manager, that's all I said. But that's how it really shook out. We lost almost a year.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have them come in.
Okay. The workshop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to do the workshop, the 11th. By the way, while we're here, did you two ladies ever set up did anybody set you guys up with a call for the guy we met with for the redevelopment? Bauman?
The
Was that his
attorney?
name? Bauman?
Yeah.
You guys have to, we met with him, redevelopment, area need, all that stuff.
Council. And
So
closed.
can we set them up with a call or what's the best way to do it? Cool.
Let me know when they're available. I'll have them set up a Zoom if that's
Yeah,
the best
whatever
way you
works.
want to do.
I'm generally available.
Yeah, we met with him the day that you two were out, three of us weren't, so.
Just plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think you guys should probably listen to what,
For sure.
or ask him the questions that you may have. I mean, we were all
It was
in
good
agreement.
meeting.
It was kind of a no-brainer to do what we're doing. And, getting some pushback over there at the one piece of property that the tenant, dropped out. It's funny. So, the 9,000 square foot tenant that was supposed to be going in that one
Wow.
property. So now they're not there. Isn't that funny?
On a different condemnation note, the fence is almost done.
Yeah, it's good. Blocks in all the bins in the back.
I stopped
Did
because
you
there was
see
a
the
hole
bins?
there. Well, it's funny you say that because I didn't know it until you
How many do
said
you think
it.
are back there?
And
A good 60, 80 at least? Big bins. Oh, I'm not talking like 3 or 4.
The
I'm
whole
talking
back.
whole back is
I had to
And he
stop.
didn't have to remove them?
black and yellow. They've got a yellow lid and black where
That's not part of the cleanup, is getting rid of them?
the bins.
Yeah.
They're neat. Why get rid of them? Because there's something else going on over there, right?
So that's an important.
Hence the reason why you need to quote Joe Bauman.
Correct.
Okay,
Cool.
that's a positive thing.
Joe
Yep.
Bauman.
Okay.
Could they be considered another room?
Well, we
They what?
started it
Could they
is.
be the size of another room?
Because that's the questions we get.
All of them?
Uh-huh.
Oh no, they're big. They're
So someone could be living in them.
in the bins.
In the
No, they're
bins.
not that big.
No. They're,
Yeah,
but there's a
bins.
lot. If all of them combined, probably
There's a
fit
lot
them
of
in
bins.
3 or 4 rooms.
There's, huh?
More?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them back there. And, any other budget questions?
One general question.
Yeah.
You want us to, well, so next steps, traditionally, we've looked at this, And then we've had another meeting to address it. We're gonna do it that way.
Well,
We
do
wanna-
you feel like we need to have a budget meeting, or do you want to just do what Ricky said and email?
That's what I was gonna suggest, yes.
Okay.
I'm good with that personally.
I think I'm comfortable.
I mean, Gita might want to, I don't want
I
to
have a
speak
lot
for
of
you.
reading to do.
Well-
That sounds fine.
I'm good with, if we got questions or whatever, send it to Ricky and go over it and then.
It works.
I don't
Not-
want to.
not as a group.
If I
Right.
may.
Not
Right. Individually, please.
Individually.
If you haven't already met with Rick, you may want to meet with him. Just throwing this out there, not to give you
Yeah.
more work.
No, I'm happy to.
Yeah, let me know.
I'll email you.
Okay.
So we'll introduce on the 11th.
We'll introduce on the 11th. Adopt on the 9th of May. The ladies will set up a Zoom or a call or whatever with,
Redevelopment.
yes,
Okay. Grant writing.
and grant writing, yeah, we want them in on the 11th
April.
for the
Oh, I
work
don't,
session.
oh, I don't
Yeah,
care
let's
about-
get them in April the sooner. Unless, Ricky, do you want to come into the work session, the
I'll be here.
11th? I mean, the
I'll be here
grant,
anyway.
we can schedule the grant writer for, what do we need, 30 minutes?
If that.
Okay, so
I
figure 30 minutes for them, and Ricky, let's put him at 5:30. So grant writer 5, Ricky at 5:30, and then we can hash out any last budget stuff we can carry over into. We have a lot for close next meeting? Are we pretty?
Offhand, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, closed has been very short lately, so if we carry over with the budget stuff,
First.
we could schedule ourselves an hour for the budget, 5:30 to 6:30, and then 6:30 hit closed session, and then meeting. Good?
Sure.
Any objections?
Hey.
Any other questions while we're here? Anything else you want to go over
Thank you.
while
You're
we're in
welcome.
work session?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Let's, note, just note for the record, there's no public here, so to open it to the public.
I'd like to ask the public if you have any questions.
Nobody here.
Public comment.
Seeing here none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Don't go anywhere, Tracy's gonna kill